So hey, my name's Lyndsey and I want to talk to you today about food. It's my favourite subject, so I'm pretty happy about that. I work for a social enterprise called FoodTrade. That's what it looks like. It's a website. And for those of you that don't know about FoodTrade, we are an open and collaborative marketplace. So we allow anybody, anywhere in the world, to buy, to sell, or find local food. It's a very simple concept. We match up people that are making or growing food over here with those over here that want to buy it or want to eat it. Very simple. So why do we need this service? Well, we started FoodTrade to fix a problem. I don't really need this. The problem is the food system, and the food system is broken. It's a disaster. I'm very sorry about that, but you only need to pick up a newspaper or look on the news to realize how much of a disaster it is. You don't need to work in the industry to know that. There are millions of people in the world that are starving. There's millions of acres of land that has been destructed and destroyed to make way for new growing, to feed all these people, the growing population. There's species of animals that are disappearing just like that because we're destroying our world to make more food. And that's the world. And even here in the West, you know, we're getting fatter and fatter. We're addicted to sugar and processed food. We're pumping our food full of chemicals because we want more food, we want bigger food, we want better food. And that brings us back to the farmers who are really, really struggling to get all of this food out. So much that there's no incentive for them to go organic or to look after the land where they're growing their food. There's no incentive for that because they're being driven to sell food at a really, really low cost to make way for the demand of cheap food. And so that's the farmers. And then there's us, the customers, the consumers. It's all very scary, all these things that are going wrong. So we run to our supermarkets. They're wonderful, you know, they're big, wide open doors. They're always open, 24 hours, bright lights, marketing gimmicks like this chocolate, this biscuit is 100% natural. Great, I mean, what does that mean? Yeah, so I'm going to have to use this after. The supermarkets, they convince us basically that food is better if it's cheaper. Now, I don't know about you, but most of the people in the room here, I think, would happily spend the better amount of a tenner on a few drinks here in one of the London pubs, right? But when we're in a shop, when we're buying food, you know, if it's 50p more, maybe a quid more for like the better option, than maybe the organic food or the local food or the better food, we go, oh no, I can't afford that. I can't afford the good food. I'm just going to go for the cheaper option. Because we've lost that value. We value other things more than food. We've lost the connection with it. I could go along a lot. You know, the list is very, very long. The food system's very broken. I'm not here to rant at you. I'm very sorry about that. What I want to talk to you today is about doing something. So this big whole long list of things that are wrong with the food system is very scary and it's very overwhelming. What happens is people throw statistics all over the media. You know, there's 1 billion people starving, there's all these things going wrong. It's very, very scary for us. So what we do is we blame other people. We blame the government, we blame GM, we blame climate change, we blame supermarkets, we blame the fact we've got no money, we blame everything. So much that we end up not doing anything about it. You know, we're in this great big pile of shit and we can't see a way out. It's true. So how do we do something? I want to talk to you today about how you can use FoodTrade as a kick-ass tool to do something good. I want to show you how everybody in this room can do something good and make a better, fairer food system. So let's look at 3 things I mentioned before, and I'll show you how FoodTrade can help. So let's look at world hunger and agriculture. Let's look at food scandals. So number 1, world hunger. There are 1 billion people that are starving in this world. That's a lot of people. And look at your faces. You all know that. That's not shocking news to you. Everybody knows that. It's pretty common knowledge. But what most of you don't know is that nearly 50% of the food that's made in the US and Europe and the UK is wasted before it even gets onto our plates. Yeah. So what that's telling us is actually we've got enough food. We can feed all these people. It's just not getting to the right places. It's not being fairly distributed. So what we've done is we've made this sort of virtual marketplace that makes trading as easy as tweeting. So people over here that are growing stuff, they can post what they've got going, and people over there that want to buy food or eat it can pick it up. It's very, very simple. It means that we can all see what's going on, what's growing, what we've got too much of, what we haven't got enough of. Then we can use food surplus more cleverly. We use less food waste, we will import less, and we can use what's growing around us far more brilliantly. That leads us to point number 2, agriculture, so growing stuff. 1 in 4 farmers is in poverty. Don't think many people know that. 1 in 4 farmers, and that's here as well in the UK. And they're in poverty because they cannot sell their food at the cost of what it takes to make it, below the true cost. Let's look at Tesco, Sainsbury's. They're doing all right, aren't they? Yeah? They're not in poverty. And there's Unilever and Nestle and all these big food companies. How are they working it? How are they doing all right? Well, what they're doing is they've basically got this great big pile of data, and they're using it to make really clever decisions about what to grow and where to sell it and what price. They're using market intelligence to maintain their position. So what we're doing at FoodTrade is we are creating all of this data, and we're offering it to any single food business in the entire world. We're offering them the information and the resources to be a success. We're offering them a way to share information with one another, to share resources, and to make better, smarter decisions. And point number 3 was food scandals. So some people in this room a year or so ago may have eaten horse meat. Well, some people have eaten here without knowing, and I think that is outrageous. I'm not even going to go into it, but the point is we need to know where our food comes from. We need to be able to trust the food suppliers, the sources of our food. Because if we don't know where our food comes from, how are we meant to make the right decision? How are we meant to choose? It's too time consuming to look at all the labels in a shop and be like, oh no, this one comes from this place and this one's 10 miles nearer to me. You know, no one's got time to do that. You know, it's very hard to find local food, and it's difficult and expensive. So we've created this interactive food map, which looks a little bit like this, and it's really, really easy to find out where everything's growing and where it's from. You can just go into a restaurant and look it up, and it will tell you where all the food's from, or a brand, or any type of food. It will just tell you. So how do we do this? I think that's an important question. How do we get this data? Who has used Wikipedia to find anything out? Yeah, I used it quite a lot in university. It's pretty good. But yeah, so Wikipedia works in a way that anybody can go on and add information. If I'm an expert of something, I don't even need to be an expert actually, I can go on and I can add information, or I can edit other people's information. And then other people can go on and they can read it, and they can learn from it, and they can share it. And that's exactly what we're doing, but for food. It's called collaborative intelligence. Sounds very fancy. Collaborative intelligence. So how it works is, I live in Bristol. We're surrounded by farms and loads of wonderful stuff, food growing. I can go on and add in what food is growing in the farms near my house in Bristol. And you can go onto FoodTrade and add in the local cider that your pub sells, or your beer. And you can go on and you can add in where your local cafe gets its milk from. And maybe the chicken in your chicken sandwich. All of these things, we can all go in and add information, and then we can share it and benefit, everyone can benefit. I think as a culture, we are not good at sharing. We're not very practiced at it, you know? We'd rather throw our food in the bin than share it with a stranger or even a neighbour. So we've built FoodTrade as a platform, a concept, on the concept of sharing. And if I'm brutally honest with you, it's taken a really long time for FoodTrade to get started. And that is because sharing is a concept that not many people are very comfortable with. What's in it for me, they say, you know, like, it's a bit hippie, it's a bit new, why would I share information? But we think it's a very clever idea and a very simple one. Because if everybody shares information, then the world suddenly becomes far more brilliant. We become able to do something, to take action, to make a difference. And that's what I want everybody here to do today, is to do something. Share what you know is good. From the farms that are growing the food, to the factories that are processing it and making it, to the kitchens and the chefs and the restaurants where we eat at night, to our kitchen cupboards. Share what you know is good, and together we can get good food everywhere and for everyone. Thank you.